This is a lecture from Open Tuition. To benefit from the lecture, you should download the free lecture notes from opentuition.com.
The final part of this chapter is regarding the cash basis for small businesses. And it explains here that you can elect to use the cash basis to determine what your tax adjusted profits are instead of the normal accruals basis. This is something that they may ask you in a small question. We've got example number 7 coming up. You're not likely to get a very large section C question on the cash basis. It's not one of the topics that appears on a regular basis. I mean, it could do, but it's not one of those that appears on a regular basis. Now, it is an election. Now, your receipts for 12 months must not be more than £150,000. So it's really only for people who are small businesses. And if your receipts exceed 300,000, then you definitely have to leave the scheme. Okay, so basically what happens here, it's cash receipts. In other words, everything that's cash, everything that you receive in money, regardless of when you build it, less anything you paid in cash, is how we work out how much profit you've made. And it ignores all the accruals basis. So anything payables, receivables, inventory, it's all ignored. Expenditure on plant and machinery mentions there, which would normally attract capital allowances, now attract tax relief, with capital payments for plant and machinery, except cars, being deductible, and capital receipts for cash and plant and machinery, except cars, being included in the calculation. Now, as far as cars are concerned, this is the big but. Instead of claiming capital allowances, instead you use a fixed or flat rate deduction for tax purposes. Now, that allowance is 45p per mile for the first 10,000 miles and 25p thereafter. That's in the rates. Check it out. Never guess. And you would do a little computation of receipts, everything that's come in, less expenses, everything that's gone out, and that's your tax adjusted profits. That figure is then used for the basis periods as per normal. Okay, so step 1 is to adjust the profits. Step 2 is to remove capital allowances. Step 3 is to do basis periods. And then step 4 to put that into your income tax computation. If you're not using the accruals basis and you're using this basis, work out the income, take off the expenses, using the mileage, the pence per mile for the cars, and then you go straight into basis periods. Let's have a look at example number 7. So Adam commenced trading as a sole trader, buying fresh fruit on June the 1st, 2022, and prepared his first set of accounts to the 31st of May, 2023, following information. Sales for the period were 61,000, of which 4,000 is still owed by customers at the end of the period. Inventory at the end of May was £1,800. Purchases and expenses for the period, all were allowable, amounted to 29,000, of which 2,000 still owed. We haven't paid for those yet. He bought some equipment for the trade, which cost him 3,000. And he bought a car, and he uses it 40% for private. And he had some expenses during the period, and he drove a total of 10,000 miles. Let's have a look at how that would work. So we're going to do 2 answers. The normal basis and the cash basis. Right, let's have a look at how that looks. Normal basis. So the normal basis would be on an accruals basis, as we've done in the previous chapters, is all the revenue that he's billed, regardless of whether he's received it or not. All the Purchases less closing stock, sales less cost of goods sold, gives us gross profit, less expenses, gives us net profit, as we dealt with before. All the expenses were allowed, and therefore we have put them in. The motor expenses, 60% only, because that's what the business use was, and a simple capital allowances computation there. It's just a little working. You wouldn't need to do a full computation. There's no need to do a full computation on that. It would be the asset that he purchased for the business plus the car at 18% times business use only. If you don't feel confident to do it that way, then I would suggest that you do a full computation, but you should be more confident if you've done the proper chapter. Now the cash base is slightly different. Do you remember? That hadn't been received. So that's what he'd billed. That was not received. And therefore that was the cash that he'd actually got. Okay. Expenses, again, that's what he owed. Sorry, that's what he paid. That's what he still owed. Therefore, we can only claim the 27. The equipment and the motor expenses using the flat rate charge. So you can see there's quite a difference between the results of those two. And if you are a small business, then quite often the cash basis produces a smaller profit. And that profit then obviously produces a lower tax bill. It might be something worth considering for those clients who are not earning quite as much as we had anticipated. Now, if there is a loss under the cash basis, and we will do losses in a later chapter there. It says normal loss relief is in that chapter. But if it's under a cash basis, all you can do is carry it forward. Okay, carry forward the loss and set it off against future profits from the same trade. And we've got an example of that here. So Eve runs a small guest house where she prepares accounts to the 5th of April each year. And for the year ended the 5th of April 23, she had trade profits before any private adjustment of 23,000. Total cost of food, heat and light charged during that period was 14,000. Now we are to state how the cost of food, heat and light may be dealt with for tax purposes. Calculate her adjusted trade profit assuming an election for the flat rate private use adjustment has been made. Okay, so this is dealt with up here. Just wanted to show you the question first. So where you have premises that use both home and business premises, small hotel, bed and breakfast, for example, you can choose, and again it's an election, for a flat rate private use adjustment to apply in respect to the private use of the property for expenses such as heat, food and light. Okay. The relevant flat rate is provided in the exam question and based on the number of occupants. Okay, so for example, if the property has one occupant, then it's £350 a month or part thereof, £4,200 an annum. 2 occupants is £500 a month or £6,000 per annum. Don't forget that means per year. So with that in mind, this is the answer to the question we have about Eve. So Eve may either establish an agreed split between the private and the business use and add back the private example, or simply use the flat rate private use adjustment and add back £4,200 a year. If the question is set using the cash basis, should assume that you will use that flat rate basis, and again it will be given to you in the exam. So at the end of this chapter there's questions 9, 10, 11 and 12 that you can practice this. It may be that this chapter you need to go back and redo it again, because the opening years, closing years, they're not the easiest thing in the world, but you need to have done adjusted profits and capital allowances before you get to this point, and do the basis period, watch it, pause, watch it again, do the examples, and then do the practice questions. These practice questions are opening years.